Hi you guys, welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and if you did not see Thursday's video where I was unboxing my ALC and my Yarnable, welcome to 2023 here on my channel. So as I've been doing the last couple years, we're going to review last year's goals that I set for myself, and then I will come back in another video and share with you this year's goals. So I've been tracking my goals in this notebook that I made at the beginning of 2022. This is using a photo play paper pack, sticker pack, 6x6 paper pad. I got the whole collection, decorated it. I followed a tutorial on maymaymadeit.com. As we're going to see, I did not do nearly as many individual projects this year as I normally do. So I am actually going to glue these two pages together, make this a tab for 2023, and I'm going to use this for 2023 again because I still have that much of the paper in this notebook unused. So I have plenty of room for this year's projects, assuming this year is probably going to be slow like last year was. So I did not do very well as far as finishing goals. What is highlighted is what I finished. So I maybe actually truly completed 30% of my goals from last year. But like I said, these really aren't things where it's like, this must be done, or I'm unhappy, I'm failure. These are just more kind of things I wanted to keep in mind. So it is what it is. I mean, it was a very busy year. The last half of my year has been, ever since August, we have been just slam packed with activities and things. My husband had surgery this year. My brother had surgery this year, and I spent 2 weeks in Ohio with him. We spent holidays traveling. We've had people here for holidays. We've just not had time at home. So it is a lot harder to craft and finish projects when you're on the road constantly, or you have company, or things are going on. Life is happening around you. So here we are, and it is what it is. I'm not stressed out about it. I'm not worried about it. I'm not mad at myself about it. It is, the goals were reminders, and they served their purpose. They served their need within my life. So first one was finishing frogging all of 2021's WIPs. I did not do this. Not at all. So that notebook from 2021 is still sitting on my desk because I did not finish the projects within it. It's okay. I will finish them this year, hopefully, or next year, or the following year. I still have pre-2020 projects here. And that was another one of my goals. Actually, my next goal, to finish or frog all of my pre-2020 projects. Nope. I completed one, my Harry Potter blanket that I started many moons ago. I put that together. There we go. That's one done. I wanted to do 75 pounds in finished objects. I got 57.75 pounds done. Now, that being said, when I finish putting together all my squares for the blankets I've made, all these squares, I will probably have met that goal plus some. I have at least 6 blankets worth of squares upstairs, not including the 2 held together DK weight squares that will be a blanket for my bed, just the planned donation squares. So that's probably a good 25 pounds right out of the gate as soon as I start putting those blankets together. Plus I started another blanket when I was at my brother's house that's 2 yarns held together, and that's going to be a fairly large blanket. So there is a lot coming as far as weight and finished objects. Working into 25 hanks of fingering weight yarn. I got 10. That's pretty good for me. To be honest, that's pretty good for me. A lot of those came in a single shawl over the summer. I'm okay with that. I would like to work into some more of my ALC and my Yarnable stuff this year. And I would like to pick a special project for some of the stuff that I bought from Cheers to You. But I'd like to do more. I'd like to use more. I want to play with more. I have so many pretty things I want to actually use. I got this from Meridian Millhouse last year to make a sweater. This is another fingering weight yarn, so I'd love to work with that. Oops. And of course now I have things falling off my shelf. I've been dying to make a hat and cowl set out of this. I have 4 balls of this. This is Animal Crackers. Oh no, this is Cupcake Karaoke from Knit Picks. This is the Felici from a couple years ago. I have 4 skeins of that. I would love to work into that. Haven't had a chance yet. I have 2 Cascade Heritages that I want to work into. Same thing. So I'm not getting 10, hitting 50% of that goal almost was like huge for me. I'm not really upset about that. It is what it is. It's very hard for me to work into fingering weight yarn because they are projects that take me significantly longer because they're finer yarns and the yarns go a lot further. I also have 2 pairs of socks sitting upstairs that I really need to finish from 2021. That'll help because then I can start new socks that I really want to make now. Work down bulky yarn, at least 25 skeins. I did 10 and I did that in the last quarter. I made some chunky shawls, hat and scarf. I really need to work it down because I'm not touching it. I'm not reaching for it. And even setting it as a goal, I'm still not reaching for it. Work down Red Heart and Impeccable yarns, at least 25 skeins. I worked through 89 skeins of it. I am ecstatic about that. That's a huge... It doesn't show in my FOs because once again, a lot of these were turned into squares for blankets, but that's a huge thing for me getting that far along. I actually made 1 entire cube empty. And I have 2 kind of like half-ish filled cubes. I started putting other stuff in their place, but I did clean out at least 2 full sections of yarn this year from my stash in that Impeccable and Red Heart. So I'm very, very pleased with myself. I still have green, gray, garnet, gold, yellow, and like spring green to work through in the Impeccable. And I have some mismatched neutrals up there that don't quite work for doing borders, but I am so happy with where I am on that goal. I did not expect to hit 89 skeins. That was a big deal. 25 cakes from the cake wall. I used 37 cakes this year. Once again, I wouldn't expect I had gotten that far along in the cake wall, but I did make a lot of shawls. I donated a lot of shawls this year, so I'm very happy with that. That's a huge group. And I've got more stuff to replenish it with. I was able to move some stuff over. I was able to organize a little bit better. I'm very happy with that. Finished 10 blankets. I completed 5. I have 2 halfway done. I have 1 that I started in 2021 that I haven't touched that really just needs to be worked on. So I have 3 that are well underway. They're more than 50% done already. Donate 25 hats. I donated 5. I really didn't make a whole lot of hats this year. It wasn't a focus. I was really focused on working through the Red Heart and Impeccable stuff. I was really focused on trying to use up the single skeins out of my stash, trying to use up scraps out of my stash. So I really didn't focus on this at all this year. 25 washcloths and mug rugs. Same thing. As much as I meant to make things for Classy Kim and Rose, I just didn't. I had other focuses this year, and that's really where my mind was for the course of the year. Donate 5 shawls. I did that. Actually, I ended up donating 14 shawls so far this year, and I have another like 4 that are ready for donation. I just need to block them. Knit or crochet 1 sweater. I did actually crochet a sweater. I just frogged it. It didn't work out. Make 400 cards. I made 200. I completed 200 cards. I still have some that are mostly done that need to be finished. So theoretically, there's a chance this year that at the beginning of the year, I'll have 200 done. So by the time I do Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas next year, it'll be a pretty quick process. Start my Christmas cards in July. I did, and I actually shared a Vlogmas in July. And I shared a whole bunch of that. Finishing off 25 rolls of washi tape. I finished off 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 28. And I don't think I have any more. Yeah, I didn't finish off any more in my box of empties here. Finished 5 6x6 paper pads. I did 2. Finish off a paper pack. None. 2 12 by 12 paper pads. I did do that. Plus, I used up an entire scrap pad, which I was pretty excited about. Finished 3 sticker packs. So I have a couple extra sticker packs, but I think between sticker packs and sticker sheets, let's see, 17, 22, 24 is kind of where I am. But part of that's what's in my bin here. So I'm not upset about where I ended up. I completed 17 shawls, 5 hats, 7 scarves, 5 blankets, 3 mug rugs or dishcloths, 200 cards. The rest of this was covered. I donated 4 blankets. 4 of the 5 I made, I donated, so that was excellent for me. Ending up the year, sorry about that, I had 14,488 grams of yarn used, which was 31.94 pounds, which is a lot of yarn. That is a lot of yarn. Non-yarny FOs were 11,709.95 grams. I'm sorry if y'all can hear the thunder. It is pouring down rain outside. Lightning, thunder, and everything. And it's supposed to do this for another 3 hours right now, so I needed to get this film so I could share. So that's 25.8 pounds. I'm very happy with that. I mean, that's a lot of stuff I actually completed and got out the door. That's not including things, you know, like I've done some purging where there are things that just aren't me anymore, just not things I want anymore. Things that have been in my stash for a while. I do have a huge stack of 12 by 12 paper pads that I'm ready to send to their next home. So total, I had 26,197.95 grams of finished projects. That was the 50, well, actually it's showing 57.75 pounds. I had 35,509.87 yards of yarn used, which was 20.18 miles, which just absolutely blows my mind. I used 20 miles of yarn this year, and I didn't even use that much of the tiny yarn. So I'm happy with where I got. I have, you can see with my little flags here, I have a lot of projects that are still in the WIP stage that were started. But it is what it is. I had a very busy year and I still got this much done. Like, that's kind of spectacular if you ask me. I did save a good portion of my ball bands for this year. And this is where we are on that. So every quarter I did a little bulldog clip that had everything together. For quarter 4, I had 37 ball bands in my container. 3 of them were the impeccable Red Heart Gull 3. 10 were bulky weight yarns. That's the 10 for the year. So year to date, I have 183 ball bands in this group. 89 of those were the acrylics. 10 of those were the bulky. So that's a lot of ball bands. I mean, that is a ridiculous amount of ball bands. My biggest month for going through yarn or quarter was quarter number 1, oddly enough. But I really cannot be mad about that much yarn getting used. That's excellent for me. So it's not as much as previous years, but for how my year's been and what I felt like I was getting done, I'm happy with that. And I just did these totals this morning, so I'm still in a little bit of a shock, I think, of what I did actually accomplish versus what I hoped to accomplish. I think I did really well knowing how the year turned out. So, and knowing what I still have like 90% done floating around upstairs. I did use up 2 of these 5x7 flat card and envelope sets. The envelopes are probably actually in my 5x7 envelopes, but the cards I used to stamp the insides of my Halloween cards. So these are now no longer being stored in my stash. And they were an accidental purchase. I meant to get the folding cards, accidentally got the flat cards. So I'm glad to have actually used them because I was worried I wouldn't be able to actually use them. We have a bunch of stickers in my paper craft empties that I used up in finishing cards for Christmas. These were leftovers from Halloween that I used up. Or not leftovers, these are the... This was a paper pack. This was a washi pack. I used up 2 things of curling ribbon. I did want to share these because this, even though this is technically not a craft supply, this used to live in my crafts. Then I put it with gift wrapping. I still wasn't using it. So this year I made a point to use it and I finished off 2. I still have like 4 more rolls of curling ribbon and then I'll have it done. Have it out of my house. So next year we'll have a bunch of gifts wrapped with this again. And then in the last quarter of the year, I did have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ATG rolls that I used up. And where I finished my Halloween cards, we do have this. Oh, I've got weird things in here. This was the 12 by 12 pad that I used up. So, I can't complain. I am very, very happy with this. I think I did very well. I achieved goals I set out. I focused on some of the other goals to where we've made progress, even though we haven't completed them. So next year, I'm hoping to see a little bit more of the goals actually getting accomplished. I'm hoping to see more things becoming FOs. I really would like to work down some of the WIPs I have floating around the house because they're becoming cluttered. Like this to me is not visual clutter, but all the WIPs are. So I'd really like to finish some of these WIPs. I have a bunch of cards I would really like to finish. I have some general purpose cards I want to finish. I would like to get Easter cards sent out this year, and I have some that are in progress. I would like to get my fall cards sent out this year, so I need to finish those. I have some winter cards I'd like to finish up. So there's, like I said, there's lots of things that are 50% or more done that I would like to just finish and have them done and be able to say, voila. And you see, we have finished objects. I would also, you know, in theory, like to see some more of progress made in these things. Not specifically these yarns. These are knit picks. This is a hand dyed I just bought. Tent sale patents. Not specifically those, but I would like to start seeing, you know, obviously some changing in the walls. Anyway, we will talk about goals for 2023 next week. I'm in the process of writing out my goals. I've been sitting here with my journal working on that. Like I said, I'm not going to make a new journal for this year. We're going to continue working in this one, seeing what we get done. Hopefully we can finish some of these pages. Just as comparison, this year I only had 40 yarn crafts in my FOs. In previous years, I've had as many as 120. So when I say like this year was not nearly as FO focused or FO heavy as previous years, like I'm not being modest. Literally, we went from 125, I think 2 years ago. It was still like 100 last year to 40 this year. But we might see a lot more this year if I can start finishing off some of these hanging projects. So as I'm still working on my list, I would love to see what you guys are setting as goals. Once again, these goals aren't supposed to be like a mandatory list. I know list making and goal keeping is not something for everybody. It is 100% for those people who can take a step back and chillax. It's not for the people who see a list and have to complete it immediately. It's for people who need reminders. So whether it be a project that you've purchased the pattern for and would like to make, if it's a goal for yarn usage, if it's a goal for wanting to try a new technique, let me know what your goals for this year are, because I would, I kind of need some inspiration for something a little bit different than what I've been doing the last year. And also, I would love to see what you guys are trying to focus on, because like one of the things I want to do is start focusing back on technique and doing new things. For 2 years, I had wanted to learn brioche. It's been 3 years and I still haven't. So like, what are you guys thinking, you know, you would like to do over the course of the next year, or really try to motivate yourself to accomplish this year as far as your craft goals, whether it be paper crafting or painting or drawing or yarn crafting or sewing? Like, I want to know kind of in your crafty world what you would like to see accomplished this year. So share, maybe give me a little inspiration for what to add to my list. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. I love you. And here's to hoping that 2023 is the most amazing year. Whoo! As I start by knocking things over. Most amazing year any of us have had. I love you guys, and I will see you all real soon. Bye, guys.